can have a product that can truly change someone's life, I think that's an incredibly powerful product. I can't tell you how long we put into research and development for this. Most liquid carnitine is around 1,500 milligrams. We have a 2,000 milligram blend of 4 different types of liquid carnitine. We also have GBB, so you're actually going to be burning fat after you consume this product. This is going to make you sweat. This is going to make you not want to stop. You are going to perform like you've never performed before, and I can promise you that.
From the virtual streets of Long Beach, California, welcome sim racing fans to the Core Racing Premier Series live on Racecraft TV. Happy that you all could join us on this Sunday evening. I'm your host Joshua Lee. Alongside me in the commentary box is Jordan Hicks. And Jordan, this might be one of the most wild card races we have had all season long here in the Core Racing Premier Series, and that is because we are taking these drivers to a road course. Not just a road course, a street course behind the wheel of some very difficult cars to handle, the Legacy V8 Supercars. This is a recipe for a very exciting race tonight.
Definitely. Like, this is something different. We saw the road course, but, like you said, this is a street course, so glad to be here, and it's going to get really interesting.
And 25 laps are on the docket for tonight's race. And just talking about how intense it's going to be, Carl Handwerk, before we hopped into this session, gave us a quick briefing on what we can expect, and he said standing start, tight track, hard to handle cars, easy to get a meatball flag, which essentially means your car is too damaged, you need to come in and pit. This is going to be an exciting night, and not only that, it's going to be a shake-up for the championship. As we grab a look at your championship standing. So a lot of intense action going on here today from Long Beach, and qualifying about to expire. About 2 minutes left before we end the qualifying session here from the virtual Long Beach, California. And on top, it is the 2 of Nick Nickerson, and that's a fairly popular place to find the driver of the famous number 2 here in both the Core Vintage Cup Series and the Core Racing Premier Series, as he is so dominant all the time when it comes to any car, any track that you put him on. He only has 2 wins on the Premier Series season, but I'm not going to sell him short. I think he can grab a 3rd one here today.
Definitely, it's Nick Nickerson, man. He can be so underestimatable, and he can go out there, and like you were saying, he's pretty much good at whatever he's in and whatever track he's on. So he's definitely one to keep your eyes locked on.
And once again, just waiting on the remainder of qualifying to go ahead and finish up before we send the cars onto the track and go racing for, once again, 25 laps around the virtual Long Beach street circuit. Famous for a number of racing series for years on the NTT IndyCar Series calendar, and also on the IMSA Sports Car Championship calendar as well. One of the premier races of IndyCar and IMSA in the last couple couple of years, and especially with it being so unique, smack dab right on the coast of Long Beach, close to the aquarium, the Queen Mary, and multiple other attractions in Long Beach, right in the middle of downtown. And it is a beautiful racetrack. The curbs stay on the streets all season long, and they put up the barriers for race weekend, and it always makes for an exciting race no matter the series that's there. Tight corners, and you can see the front straightaway down, curved front straightaway down Shoreline Village Drive, and it is a very difficult track to master and a very difficult pit road to also get into, as it is right off the exit of the final corner, and that final corner equally as difficult, with it being almost a 180-degree turn immediately on a dime following a tough chicane. So these drivers are going to have a lot to deal with behind the wheel of those cars today. Checkered flag has dropped on qualifying. Now we're just waiting on the remainder of the drivers to finish up their laps on the course, and then we'll be getting you your starting grid for today's race from Long Beach. Here's Paul Owens. He's going to pull off in the number 91. Mark Thomas finishing up one of his laps, coming across the line in the 50. He is not going to improve on his time, as he'll head back through turn number 1. John Crane coming across the line. And it looks like we were waiting on Terry Condas to come across the line, but it looks like he spun maybe a little bit too far short. And he spun and coming off that final corner. That's the corner I was talking about, almost 180 degrees. A very difficult corner to get correct. And he's going to move on forward. And Mason Smith completing all of his laps. He's going to bring it through the fountain section. And Condas comes across the line. We should be back. We should be ending qualifying here in just a moment and be taking a look at your starting grid. Don't believe we are waiting on Mason Smith, and we have about 20 seconds left of the extra time iRacing threw on, and Mason Smith unfortunately not going to have enough time to bring it all the way back around to the front straightaway and complete another lap. But we're getting a great look at just how difficult it is to master this course, and you can see just the tight corners, tight straightaways, not a lot of passing opportunities. You're really going to have to use that bumper to make those passes happen. And just like that, qualifying is over, and it's time to take a look at your starting grid for today's Core Racing Premier Series V8 Supercars from the virtual Long Beach. Nick Nickerson, a great time, a 1:19.802. The only driver to go into the 1:19s. We'll start on the pole. Adam Jones in second, Mason Smith in third, Carl Landwerk fourth, Michael Campbell will round out your top 5. Paul Owens, Kevin Foster share 6th and 7th, Jimmy Covert in 8th, Mark Thomas 9th, with Matt Crockett rounding out your top 10. Tim Thompson in 11th, John Crane in 12th. And looking down the rest of your starting grid, rounding out your field, it is going to be Derek Sherman, Terry Condas, Alan Slight, Brandon Metler, Paul Butler, and David Castelli, rounding out your 18 cars that will take the grid here at Long Beach. And once again, it is a standing start, so this is going to be a much different start than we're used to seeing. Jordan, what are you expecting as they all dive into turn number 1?
You know, I'm definitely expecting a lot of late reaction times because, like you said, it's a standing start, and we're used to that rolling start, so I'm definitely going to watch for some late starts, and you know, it could cause for a pile-up depending on who goes and who doesn't.
And now just waiting on everybody to make their way onto the grid to begin tonight's race. 25 laps of racing. It doesn't sound like a lot, but when you throw in that we're here at the Long Beach Street Circuit, it makes it so much more difficult for these drivers. They already need to be hitting their marks from lap 1, but they got to do that for 25 laps tonight. Is going to be a tough one, and the best of the best are definitely going to rise to the top, and it seems like the best as of right now, heading out of qualifying, are the 2 and the 46. Will they stay like that, however? Clock going to expire on the starting grid, and it is time to go racing. Another round of the Core Racing Premier Series ready to go, and they're underway as they race down the front straightaway for the first time. The two with a great start. Adam Jones and Mason Smith going to go side by side. Adam Jones trying to clear Mason Smith as they head down into turn number 1. Still 2 by 2, almost all the way down. And they head into corner number 1 on the outside line. That's Adam Jones, but Nickerson hits the wall. He slams on the brakes, makes contact with the wall, and already damage to the 2. He locks up the brakes again, going through the fountain. Issues further back. It looks like more carnage. Alan Slight, John Crane getting into a bit of contact. Paul Butler as well. But everybody seemed to have gotten through cleanly. Nobody with terminal damage as the 2 tries to pull away, but he's still locking up the front tires as they make their way into Sector 2 of the racetrack.
A whole lot of action right now, as that was literally the first lap, and we already saw cars go into the wall. And, you know, Nick Nickerson's off to a pretty good start right now. Like you said, Josh, a little bit of damage on the front right. But I think once a few laps go down, I think he'll be pretty solid.
And he locked up the tires, and he does it again. That's the smoke we're seeing out of that left front tire. He's locking up the brakes. Don't think he wants to do that. That's going to chew up those tires fairly quickly. Issue in the back, Paul Butler around in the 68. That's his second incident of the day. This is the first one with damage. We'll see exactly what happened to the 68 here on the replay. They just lost it coming out of the corner, trying to get the power down. Looks like we might have had an issue with Adam Jones as well in the 46. He was racing down towards turn number 1. Right behind your leader. Oh, and he locks it up as well, and he slams it into the Acura tire barriers. Gets it back going, but loses 3 spots. He's currently down into 5th. And we'll see if there's an issue for David Castelli as well. He was navigating himself around the Paul Butler incident. And it doesn't look like he got into any strong damage. Oh my, the 199 was turned around of John Crane. He was barely able to get around, and it looks like John Crane had another incident on the racetrack heading through the fountain. Oh, Adam Jones locked it up in front of him. Sorry, that was the 51 of Derek Sherman. Both running identical paint schemes, and he locked it up in front of him. And around with the 199 trying to avoid an incident. And I think we have even more incidents as we keep looking at replays. Now we're taking a look at Matt Crockett in the 10. What exactly happened to him? Another lock up on the front tires. And trying to get the power down hard into the wall goes the 10. But we also had a major incident for your leader as well. Another huge lockup through the entire corner. I'm not sure exactly how much of damage this 2 car might have gotten here on this incident. Looks like I'm just maybe getting a little bit too far out. Taps the wall. But your leader seems to still be going well. There was a good bit of crashing in the event viewer that I saw. I'm just wondering how much damage it's going to be. Handwork goes wide, comes in on Adam Jones to the inside. Maybe some slight contact. Could have been some netcode contact as well. As we are going to go back live here in just a moment to your leader. Seeing if there's any more issues for Derek Sherman here in the 51. He spun it around and into the wall. Same thing that pretty much Adam Jones did. And more drivers getting into incidents. Tim Thompson turned around. Lot of incidents going on right now on the racetrack. And I think the 2 might have just hit the wall once more. We'll grab a replay of your race leader. Could be the same thing that we've been seeing from the 2, and it's the locking up of the tires. Yes, it was, and he goes wide. I think it was just the locking up of the tires that we were seeing as a potential incident for the 2, but he's still pulling away. Over a 3.5 second gap now between him and Michael Campbell, who sits in 2nd place, and he's battling with Mason Smith for 3rd. Jimmy Covert turned around in turn 1.
Definitely curious to see on what happened. It might have just gotten loose coming out of the turn, but, you know, you can see that replay right there.
Correction, this was actually a turn, I believe turn 4, back into the racetrack. Oh, hard hit. Yeah, he locked it up, similar to what a lot of drivers have been doing. Can't get too hard on the brakes in these V8 supercars. They may race on road courses and they may look a lot different, but these things, honestly, especially the legacy V8 supercars that we're racing here, they race a lot like a NASCAR stock car when it comes to road courses. They're big and clunky. It's difficult to wheel these things around. As you can see, just drivers locking it up, slamming the wall, coming out of the final corner. Battle for the 4th spot as Adam Jones goes to the inside of Carl Andwerk. He's going to grab the spot. Can Andwerk try and get it back as we're on board? Locking up ahead from Adam Jones. He's able to keep it out of the wall. Through the fountain. Very difficult to get the power down there, especially with the wall that close. Andwerk slams the wall. So does Adam Jones up in front. More locking up with those brakes. Jones gets loose coming out of the corner. Andwerk trying to pounce down the outside. Quickly going to turn to inside as they go into a right-hander.
That definitely opened up a spot for Andwerk, as, you know, this race is really, really interesting. We're only 4 laps in, so definitely a whole lot to come. And, you know, Nick Nickerson's still on top on the leaderboard of P1, and you can see the 18 car and the 46 car battling it out for 4th, and it seems like the 18 car's got a pretty good gap between that 46 car, and let's see if he can hold it as he slams on the brakes there, tries to keep it nice and tight on that turn. And so definitely more to come here.
They race their way back down the front straightaway. Oh, and the 2 cars in pit road. Shocker from your leader, Nick Nickerson. He brings it into pit road after 5 laps. And the car's going up on jack stands. He is grabbing 4 tires. I think he might have just grabbed the front 2. Very, very interesting from the 2 car. I do not believe these drivers will have any scheduled pit stops. It looks like he grabbed the fast repair. Jordan, is it possible that the 2 might be so confident in his race car that he's going to try and drive from 9th back to 1st after grabbing a fast repair?
You know, it's Nick Nickerson, so, I mean, he can probably do anything, and it seems like he's already making moves as he just passed the 32 car of Terry Condas, and, you know, he seems like he's having it in the groove, getting a little loose there. But he's got to catch the 02 car of Alan Slight to hopefully catch up with the bigger part of the pack.
So assuming the lead now is Mason Smith, he'll sit in the lead. Michael Campbell also going to come down pit road. Now this is interesting as more leaders start to trickle into pit road. This could very well be a scheduled pit stop where they can run 20 laps to the end of the race, and they'd rather pit after 5 laps than with 5 to go. A couple more cars in pit road. Matt Crockett is in. Sorry, no, he's into the wall. He's not into pit road. He's into the wall, went straight off. And he's going to get back going in the 10. But Mason Smith leads. Adam Jones in 2nd. Still with Carl Andwerk right behind, looking for the spot. As they battle for 2nd place on the racetrack. Jones with a lockup. He gets loose, and around goes Adam Jones. An unfortunate crash for Adam Jones there. He was able to hold off Andwerk for a good bit of time. But that is all going to end. As you can see, the lockup gets loose, and right off the racetrack he goes. He's able to keep it going, but obviously not quick enough to be able to still be rivaling with Adam Jones. Sorry, with Carl Andwerk further up the road. So yeah, back up to your leader, Mason Smith. He still leads by 6.3 seconds over Carl Andwerk. We'll update you on Nick here in the 6th position now. So he's already up 3 spots, past Sherman, past Slight, he's still locking up those front tires throughout the entire corner. But Jordan, honestly, if it's working for him and doesn't seem to be doing any major damage to his tires either, that seems to be the fastest way around the racetrack for the two, as he has the fastest lap of the race so far.
You know, it's definitely keeping him consistent. So whatever he's doing, I think he should stick with it. Hopefully he keeps some clean laps, and he's making his way up back to the top of the pack.
We'll take a look at your best times of the race here, as there is a good bit of fast times currently on the racetrack. We'll see exactly who's sitting where, and you can see definitely the two with the fastest time of the race so far, 120.278. Seems like the closest to him is a 121.254. That is from your current leader. Out in front is Derek Sherman, now going to come down into pit lane. Once again, still not 100% sure if these pit stops are scheduled. And we're going to see everybody come down. Terry Condas is in as well. It's very possible we might, but it's also very possible that these drivers are pitting maybe a tad early, just so they can get back onto the racetrack and keep racing. These drivers might be up front, might be waiting for an opportunity later in the race where they can hopefully try and extend a gap, or maybe these aren't scheduled pit stops at all, just drivers looking to grab fast repairs as Sherman comes back onto the racetrack now in P12. Take a look at Michael Campbell in 8th, chasing down Alan Slight further up the road in 7th. As Mason Smith continues to command your race, 7 seconds currently ahead of the leader. Sorry, of the 2 car. I want to see exactly the difference in lap times between these two. Let's see if I get this graphic correct off the start. I did not. There we go. There's a difference in lap times between your leader currently and Mason Smith. And as you can see, 2 seconds faster last time by for the 2 of Nick Nickerson. And Mason Smith up in front, 2 seconds slower. And the only lap he has been faster than the 2 is on lap number 6. That was when the 2 car came down pit road. So we can definitely see out of these 2 who's the faster driver. But we have 16 laps to go. He still has a long gap to try and catch up, about 30 seconds some odd. But he just knocked down 2 more seconds off that lap time. So he is on a mission as the 50 of Mark Thomas comes out of the pit lane. And Nick Nickerson jumping the curb there in turn number 1. He is on a mission and going fast. The question is, can he catch up, and is he going to make any mistakes on the way to the lead? Another question I'm asking Jordan is, when is he going to reach traffic? He's trying to reach up to Paul Owens, who's now coming down one of the back straightaways, and you can see the 2 car just now entering that turn where we picked up Paul Owens onto the straightaway, and Owens is turning off of that straightaway, so he still has a good bit to go before he reaches really any traffic, but he still could almost just cut right through that traffic, but it's very difficult on a tight street circuit like this.
You know, I would say he has a lot of time, but I mean, 15 laps can go fast, and you know, just depending on how focused you are, you can go from 15 laps to literally none. And it takes a matter of time for Nick Nickerson to catch up, and so from what it seems, he seems pretty consistent, but it's just a matter of time until he can actually catch up. And you can see just nobody's in front of him, so all I can say is that he's probably just hoping and hanging on in that number 2 car, but it seems from what we've been watching, he's got this track nailed down.
And he is still knocking seconds off of that lap time. Now 28 seconds knocked off as Derek Sherman gets turned around, and there's the 2 right behind. So he's going to catch up to a bit of traffic, specifically the 51 of Derek Sherman, who currently sits off of the lead lap. the first car off of the lead lap. But Mason Smith still leads. Now 8.9 seconds and make that 9 seconds ahead of Carl Handwerk. As you can see, Handwerk making his way through the final corner. Kevin Foster right behind, Paul Owens, and now Nick Nickerson, as more cars came into pit road up in front of him, is up to 5th, but you can see him getting held up by Derek Sherman up ahead, so he is going to get back by him, but that's more lost time for the two. As he comes back onto the front straightaway, we're going to go on board for a full lap with the 2 car of Nick Nickerson as he tries to catch up to the lead from 5th. A 121.05 that last time by from the 2, as he now has a 25.5 second gap to your leader. Currently Mason Smith, as the 2 just attacking those curbs. Smith still leads. Just looking down our timing tower, doesn't look like any battles on the racetrack at the moment. We sit with 13 laps remaining here in the Core Premier Series. And this is currently on the season. We keep inching closer and closer to the playoffs. And this race here in Long Beach is around number 10 of the season. And in the last 2 rounds, we have had the Solstice at Richmond for the Mid-Season Classic. No points on the line there. But then last weekend, it was the Cadillac CTSV at Talladega. A very exciting race that was, with Marco Barbanera and Jordan Hicks on the call over there. Next week, though, is going to be a very, very great race with the Big Block Modifieds at the USA International Speedway, the dirt configuration of that racetrack. That is going to be very exciting. Then, after that, Legends cars at Lucas Oil Rallycross. We're going to see some flying Legends cars there around that track for 15 laps. The Gander Trucks then at Kansas for round number 13. Then round 14, the UMP Modifieds at the dirt track at Charlotte. Another exciting race. And then Cup cars at Michigan to round out the regular season. Then we head into round number 1 of the playoffs. First race there, Xfinity cars at Five Flags. Second race, Pro Mazdas at Canadian Tire. Then we round out that round of the playoffs with GT3 cars at Daytona. Then into playoffs round 2, the Daytona Prototype at Mount Panorama. And then super late models at the North Wilkesboro Speedway. And then 410 sprint cars at Eldora to round out the second round of the playoffs. Then we round out the season with the season finale, race details TBD. And the fans will have an input on that one. It is going to be a very exciting finish to this Core Racing Premier Series Championship as the points continue to heat up after last week at Talladega and this week at Long Beach, expecting another shakeup in those points as we continue to work our way. Now 11 laps to go here from the Long Beach Street Circuit, over halfway done with the race here tonight. Mason Smith leads the way, Carl Handwerk in second, but now Nick Nickerson has worked his way up to second as Foster and Owens both make their way into the pit lane. So now the 2 is going to sit in third, still 21 seconds back from your leader, but Jordan, he is coming and he is working his way up through the field incredibly quickly as we have 11 to go here from Long Beach.
You know, if I was Mason Smith and Carl Handwerk, I would definitely be scared because Nick Nickerson fell back pretty far, and it's just crazy to think how fast he caught up. It only took him a few laps, I would say maybe 5 laps, and he's already up to the top 3, so it's definitely crazy. You can see he gets a little loose there, but realistically, I think that was the first time we've seen him get loose in a little bit.
And he continues to work on the racetrack and trying to still keep making his way up through the field. Exactly not there just yet, but you can see him making his way through the final section of the racetrack and making his way up to Carl Handwerk as Mason Smith comes into the pit lane. So scheduled pit stops definitely starting to make their way in. The question is, did Nick Nickerson stop too early? And will we see the 2 after 2 stop? And he does! Nickerson is into pit road. So that first pit stop definitely was not scheduled. This one, the opposite, as Nickerson is back into the pit lane with 10 laps to go. That is going to change everything about this race because Handwerk still needs to come down into the pit lane. But Mason Smith, as he comes out of the pit lane, this might be the gift that he needed. The 2 car was cutting his way through the field quickly, but now that Smith is out of pit road and Nickerson is still in, I think Mason Smith is in the catbird seat for this win, and they're going to have Adam Jones in between them as well. Now the real question is Handwerk going to come down into pit road this time by? Now we're expecting these pit stops, so I would assume that we are going to see Handwerk down at least sooner rather than later, and there he goes. He is now into the pit lane. So that is going to influence this race even more as Handwerk brings his car in. So scheduled pit stops definitely underway. That's the majority of your leaders now down and away from pit lane. So really now we're just waiting on seeing who of the rest are going to come into the pit lane, because we are expecting everybody to at least make one pit stop, but Mason Smith looking to assume the lead. It's actually going to be quite close depending on when Handwerk is down and away from the jack stands. There he goes. Mason Smith just now coming across the line. Is there a possibility Handwerk can come out in time? No, pit road speed gets him, so that is going to be Mason Smith out in front, but Handwerk looking to assume second place. He's not going to quite make that either. He'll come out right behind Adam Jones, and there's the 2 now just coming on to the last part of the front straightaway with 9 to go. And the 2 still sits in 4th, but the gap has closed. 10 seconds now separate these top 4, and this is going to be the battle to the end of the race. And it is only just
we needed more
going to start, and we are going to hop into a real quick commercial break, but don't worry, you are going side by side to experience the last couple of laps. We're only going to be gone for about 90 seconds, and then we'll be back here from Long Beach, but you're going side by side so you don't miss any of the action here from the Core Racing Premier Series V8 Supercars from the Long Beach Street Circuit. So don't go anywhere. We will be right back here on Racecraft TV.
We needed more.
More from our bodies,
more from our minds.
so we went on a mission.
To study the top level of performance across every competitive playing field.
To find what fuels the highest level of athletes, businessmen, and gamers.
Through intense trials across every competitive landscape, we found there were 5 undeniable principles that help your body operate at peak performance all the time.
Focus. The ability to visualize and execute with precision. Focus is the single most important component when it comes to performance.
We combined multiple choline sources, including alpha GPC, choline bitartrate, along with L-tyrosine to help boost mental performance.
Recovery.
We need to take you from 5% to 100% as fast as possible. Bounce back with nourishing BCAAs.
For body and mind. Energy.
Fuel to get the job done. Answer the bell with confidence that you'll be able to attack energy and intensity.
We mix a blend of instant and sustained release caffeine to light a fire with
300 milligrams of GO.
stamina.
The willpower to see it to the end.
But true stamina is coming back day after month after year. We incorporated L-carnitine to deliver energy on a cellular level, with betaine anhydrous and taurine augmenting those effects.
Hydration. Sports science was built on hydration, and it's no secret why.
That's why we added a blend of electrolytes to help sustain performance. We tried all of the other energy drinks. They may help you stick, but not much else. We combined all 5 pillars of performance into one single form.
Focus.
Recovery.
Energy
Stamina.
and hydration. We call it Refresh Technology.
And it delivers more.
Welcome back to Racecraft TV's coverage of the Core Racing Premier Series V8 Supercars from Long Beach this week, and we have a battle for the 3rd spot. Carl Handwerk up in front of Nick Nickerson in the 2, and right now holding up the 2 from trying to catch up to the leader Mason Smith is Carl Handwerk as they go battling into the back section of this racetrack. A lockup from Handwerk just a moment ago. You can see that 2 car to lock up the tires as well, but they are battling for this 3rd spot. Back on board with the 2. Now we'll go on board with Handwerk and look back from the gearbox as they continue to battle for the 3rd spot. Oh, Nickerson, you can see getting loose on exit. He had to chase the car. That's not going to help him in this battle. You can see him getting farther away from Carl Handwerk with 6 laps to go. He'll go diving back into turn number 1. This seems to be the best portion of the racetrack for the 2. How is he going to do making his way through? There's your sector comparisons from the last lap. Once they make their way through the timing screen for section number 1, there we go. And Nickerson just slightly faster than Carl Handwerk, and he's going to try and make a move up the inside. Another faster sector for the 2. And now the 2 car gets a little bit clear on the outside. Tried to make it work, but Handwerk still in front, but the crossover coming in from Nickerson as he tries to go back to the inside. They'll be at a right-hander. Gonna have a slight advantage as Handwerk bumps it into the wall. Handwerk hard into the wall. That's gonna be the end of that fight, as Handwerk now gonna lose out on the position. Here's that replay.
You just see the pressure it seemed got to Handwerk, and Nickerson goes off to get further up in that top 3, and you can see that replay once again. Handwerk just straight into the tire barriers, and then Nickerson goes right off and to hopefully get up higher in the leaderboard.
So now that puts the 2 into 3rd place. 5 laps to go. About 5.8 seconds separate the 2 and the 6, your current leader of Mason Smith. But he still has to go through Adam Jones. There's your 4 leaders right there on that screen, on this camera angle, on the straightaway. So you can see all of them relatively close together, and about the closest together they've been all race long as they continue to race through. Small battle going on back here for 7th between Butler and Slight. A little bit too far in between these 2. But Slight looking to gain more spots on the day. Paul Butler, your biggest mover of the race, up 10 spots where he originally started in 17th. So a good day so far for Paul Butler in the 68. He's going to try and capitalize on a good top 10 finish. As once again, your 4 leaders coming down the front straightaway. And they're all relatively close together, all within 10 seconds, specifically within 7 seconds, as it is 6.88 seconds from Mason Smith back to your leader. Back to Carl Handwerk, the 18, your current points leader. As there's your top 4 as they currently stand. About 7 seconds currently separate everybody here in the top 4. As Handwerk falls back slightly, and the 2 car of Nick Nickerson slightly catching up to Adam Jones in the 46, but still 4 laps to go. Time running out for the 2 car, Jordan, if he wants to try and grab this win.
You know, definitely, this is definitely heating up for a crazy finish, as you got Nickerson in 3rd and Handwerk in 4th. Probably the 2 most consistent racers that I've at least watched on this series. And you can just see Nickerson's got this track down, and I'm pretty sure the 46 of Adam Jones hit the wall there a little bit, which let Nickerson catch up a little bit, and he's going to take a bump on the rear bumper and got the 46 loose, and hopefully to make a pass into 2nd. Let's see what he can do with 3 laps remaining.
Time still running out here from the Long Beach Street Circuit. Back into turn number 1. Oh, and the 2 car's still getting loose. He's trying to get the power down so early. He knows he has the car to do it. He knows that he can try and get the win. He knows that he can. He just needs to commit to it, and he's trying to. You can see him getting so hard on the throttle, coming out of each and every corner. It's just the car not wanting to cooperate. He stays behind the 46 of Adam Jones. As we're going to go on board with the 2 of Nick Nickerson as he tries to catch up in front. A lockup from Adam Jones. This could be what he needed. Heading into this very same corner, he passed Carl Handwerk just a couple of laps ago. Can he do the same thing on Adam Jones in the 46? Hard on the brakes, equally hard on the throttle. Not able to get back to the back bumper of the 46. Can he do it heading through the slowest corner on the racetrack? He gave him a bump there last time by, but once again, not able to get the power down how he needs. Adam Jones now pulling away on the front straightaway, 2 laps to go. 3.4 seconds now separate Nick Nickerson from your leader, Mason Smith, in the 6th. Mason Smith was gifted this win a little bit earlier on when the 2 car came in for an unscheduled pit stop at lap 5. Smith has held the lead ever since. The only time he lost it was under pit stops, and that was only to Carl Handwerk.
You can just see him slowly getting closer and closer to the rear bumper of the 46 car. He just wants to make that pass as he's going side by side with Adam Jones, and he's going to take the position and hopefully catch up to Mason Smith in the 6th car with 2 laps remaining. This is heating up for one crazy finish here tonight.
And he is going to need a miracle to do that. You can see the gap between your top 2 there, 3.4 seconds. He's going to need a huge mistake from Mason Smith in order to do that. And Jones just sent it right back up the inside of the 2. Can Nickerson keep the spot, or is Adam Jones going to take it right on back? He's pressuring him on the inside, not able to get the rotation down through the corner, so the 2 car back into 2nd. But the white flag is out for your race leader, Mason Smith. This is the final opportunity that the 2 car will have, but the gap might be too much. Will Smith make a mistake? Coming out of the fountain section. Another great corner for the 2 as he tries to catch up to your race leader. You can hear the engine from the 2 in that camera angle. There he goes, exiting that corner. 2.65 seconds now. Heading into the harder braking zones of the section. Sector 3 on the racetrack. It might not be enough. He's trying to catch all that he can. Etch away as much time, but he got into 2nd place just maybe a few laps too late. He's already made up a full 2nd on your race leader, but he had to make up about 3 of them. If he had more time, he might have been able to get it done. But through the final corner here at the Long Beach Street Circuit, in an upset win, it's gonna be the 6-car Mason Smith goes to victory lane in Southern California. And it was an upset win as Nick Nickerson, fastest in practice, qualified on the pole, but was not able to get it done. Adam Jones, Carl Andwerk, and Kevin Foster are going to round out your top 5 as we await the full field to finish the race and come across the line. Foster comes across the line. Now just waiting on the rest of your field. Paul Owens next to come across the line to finish in 6th. Actually, the last car on the lead lap is Paul Owens. Paul Butler 1 lap down. He finished in 7th. Same thing with Alan Slight, who took home 8th place. Tim Thompson comes across the line. All these drivers have already finished and made their way across the line, so they're having a bit of a demolition derby down there in one of the tighter sections of the racetrack. Mark Thomas across the line. Brandon Mettler gonna make his way across the finish line to come home in 15th. John Crane in the 199. He actually had an incident further back. He has not crossed the start-finish line yet, and that car not exactly looking the best, and I think he's gonna try and nurse it around to come across the start-finish line and finish the race. But Jordan, that was a bit of an exciting finish there. It looked like the two might have had a chance if he just had one more lap, but he got by Adam Jones, and Adam Jones still put up a fight down in this section of the racetrack that we're looking at now, and that might have been the nail in the coffin for the two.
You know, definitely, it definitely seemed like a lap too short for Nickerson, but I mean, at the end of the day, 2nd place is still really good, so a huge congratulations to him, and especially Mason Smith in the 6th car with an upset win, and a huge congratulations to all the drivers here tonight, and it was definitely really interesting.
It was a great finish to the race, and Mason Smith with a great finish on the day as well. As we're going to take a look at your full finishing results here from the virtual Long Beach Street Circuit. Mason Smith comes home a winner with Nick Nickerson in 2nd, Adam Jones 3rd, Carl Andwerk 4th, Kevin Foster in 5th, Paul Owens, their last car on the lead lap, comes home in 6th, Paul Butler, Alan Slight, Derek Sherman, Tim Thompson round out your top 10, with Matt Crockett, John Crane, Mark Thomas, Jimmy Covert, Brandon Mettler, Terry Condas, Michael Campbell, and David Castelli rounds out your full 18-car field here from the virtual Long Beach Street Circuit. And it's time to talk to your winner on the day, Mason Smith in the 6. We'll pull him up into the commentary box and talk to your race winner here from Long Beach. Mason Smith, Joshua Lee in the Racecraft TV booth. You got a copy?
Yes, I got a copy.
Well, Mason, what a night for you. Nick Nickerson was the main driver to beat. And when he came into pit lane on lap number 5, what was going through your mind as you just assumed the lead in the race and evidently for the last 20 laps of that race had a great chance to come home the winner?
Well, when I took the lead, heart was beating fast a little bit, and then it just started to cool down when I was leading all the laps and stuff and taking the pit stops. But at the final lap, or especially the checker flag, I was screaming like SpongeBob.
And it was a hard-fought battle there because Nick Nickerson, especially after that last caution or after the last round of pit stops, was cutting his way through the field, and he got held up a little bit back there for second and got held up a little bit for third. And you just kept on pulling away and keeping that lead. When he got into second place on that final lap, were you just hoping to nail those corners and try and just nurse the thing home to come home a winner?
Of course, yeah. And yeah, and on top of all that, I gave a lot of practice in coming to this race, which road courses are my strong suit. Always my strong suit.
And heading into the next round of the championship, we're going from a road course to dirt racing with the big block modifieds at USA Dirt. Do you think you can walk away with 2 in a row, or is a dirt race not exactly your strong suit when it comes to racing here in the Core Racing Premier Series?
As long as I can win that Mount Panorama with those Riley MKs, I should be good for settling in for the final championship round. Because isn't that round 2?
That would be in the second round of the playoffs. Yes, it is the first race of the second round of the playoffs. So you have something in the playoffs there if you can make it through round 1. And we also have the Pro Mazdas, like Canadian Tire, there in round number 1 of the playoffs as well. And the GT3s of the Daytona Road Course. So a lot more road racing coming up for you to make a run at the championship. Mason, thank you for joining us here in the commentary box. Anybody else you would like to thank?
Thank everyone that was watching. Just Racecraft is a very very good broadcast, and without the hardware stuff, I wouldn't even be here today.
Well, thank you very much for joining us, Mason Smith, your race winner here from Long Beach. Now, normally we would just do the race winner interview, but we have a bit more time here on tonight's broadcast, so we're going to keep on running with the interviews, and we'll at least get through your top 3 here, and definitely a driver that I'm really interested on what exactly happened in this race and that I want to talk to is your second place finisher of Nick Nickerson, and we'll grab him here in just a moment because it was just such a shock when he came down into the pit lane. We'll grab him in now. Nick, welcome to the Racecraft TV broadcast booth. Obviously, the thing that me and Jordan were wondering, and that I'm sure a lot of people at home watching were wondering as well, what prompted you to come into pit road there on lap 5 and honestly, being brutally honest, gave up your race win there on lap 5?
Yeah, man. I ended up meatballing my car. For some reason, these cars were getting damaged very easily, and I barely brushed some tire barrier, and I ended up messing up my front suspension, so I had to come get it fixed. I think maybe it's because these are legacy cars, so maybe iRacing doesn't really keep up with the damage model on these, and it's obviously some kind of bug. I mean, barely touch the wall, you're just messing your suspension up. So yeah, that was unfortunate. I had to give up the lead, but I almost got it back.
I was about to bring up that recovery drive because it was just such a great drive from that we were watching. You were cutting your way through the field, but you got held up there just slightly with Adam Jones, with Carl Handwerk. You had battles with those guys. Do you think if you could have made those battles a little bit shorter, gotten by him a little bit quicker, you might have had more of a chance to try and overtake Mason there for the race win?
Absolutely. But, I can't blame them for not wanting to just give up their second and third place. So, and it's just very difficult to pass. But if I was to somehow get past him as soon as I got up to him, absolutely, I think it would have got Mason. But, he did a fantastic job, man. I mean, he didn't damage his car, he took care of it, and he's walking away with the win.
Well, we've seen your confidence on the road courses this season, but I want to know about your confidence on dirt because we're heading to USA with the big block modifieds for 50 laps over there. Do you think you can walk away with a win there, trying to get a bit of redemption for Long Beach, or is that redemption going to have to wait until the first round of the playoffs when we go to Canadian Tire with the Pro Mazdas?
Well, I tell you, Carl and I'm sure Adam, they pack a heavy punch when it comes to dirt racing. So if I do somehow walk away with the win, it won't be without a major fight. That's for sure.
Well, Nick, thank you for joining us up here in the box. Anybody else you would like to thank?
Man, just, Carl and everybody puts this league on, man. Tons of fun. Congratulations to Mason. I think this is his first win in the Premier Series. He's an outstanding driver. I think he's been with us for maybe like 3/4 of a year now. And I appreciate you guys in the broadcast, man. It's an amazing broadcast.
Well, thank you very much. That's Nick Nickerson, second place finisher here in Long Beach. And we're going to grab your final interview of the day. Third place finisher Adam Jones. And we'll grab him in here in just a moment. Adam Jones, Joshua Lee in the commentary box. You got a copy?
10-4.
Well, Adam, it was a fairly hard-fought race for you. We saw your car very damaged, and we saw you battling with Carl Andwerk for what seemed like the entire length of tonight's race. How was it from inside the number 46?
Well, it was better once I pitted, but it was pretty bad there running with all that damage.
And you had to run with that damage for a while. How much was that affecting the car? Because we heard from Nick, who had to pit because he got a black flag with the orange dot in the middle, which means you need to come into pit lane. You need to pit and get the repairs fixed. How much different was the handling? Because he just brushed the wall and he had suspension damage and had to bring it down pit road. Were you dealing with a different car, or was it just some body damage on the 46?
Well, I'm not exactly sure. I don't have a lot of experience in these cars, but it really felt like just everything was a little worse. It didn't brake quite as well. It didn't turn quite as well. It just was overall slower, but you just had to fight it.
And now we head into the next round, big block modifieds at USA. Do you think you can walk away with another good finish, or are you more confident there than the road course that we had tonight?
Oh, no, I'd definitely run a road course over that. I hate dirt. I'm terrible on dirt. If you guys want to see a good wreck, watch me next week.
Well, we hope to be watching you next week here in the Core Premier Series. Anybody else you would like to thank on Racecraft TV?
Well, thank Carl for putting on this league. It's been a lot of fun, and you guys doing the broadcast, you guys do a great job. So really enjoy watching those. But yeah, that's pretty much it, man.
Thank you very much for joining us. Adam Jones, third place finisher on the day here in Long Beach. And Jordan, we're heading into a completely different race next week. And that's the whole thing about this championship, is that we head to so many unique car and track combinations next week, albeit it's still unique, but it's just a little bit of the same that we're used to seeing. You know, it's a more traditional car track combination, dirt car on a dirt track. But it's going to provide a different challenge for these drivers, especially for the ones like Adam Jones, who are not used to racing dirt and are not that good at dirt. We could see some new winners come out of next week's race.
You know, definitely, it's going to be interesting and could cause for a lot of wrecks, but that's the part of dirt, and so I'm really excited. I personally love racing dirt. It's fun, and, you know, watching these guys do this race tonight, it was interesting, and going into next week, it's hopefully going to be even better.
Well, we hope to see you in 1 week's time at the USA International Speedway for the big block modifieds on the dirt track at USA. For Jordan Hicks, I'm Joshua Lee. Thank you so much for joining us here on Racecraft TV. We hope to see you tomorrow night for the Core Racing Vintage Cup Series as it enters another round. And we hope to see you in a week for the next round of the Core Racing Premier Series. We are saying good night from Long Beach.
We needed more.
More from our bodies.
More from our minds.
So we went on a mission.
To study the top level of performance across every competitive playing field.
To find what fuels the highest level of athletes, businessmen, and gamers.
Through intense trials across every competitive landscape, we found that there were 5 undeniable principles that help your body operate at the highest level of peak performance all the time.
Focus. The ability to visualize and execute with precision. Focus is the single most important component when it comes to performance.
We combined multiple choline sources, including alpha GPC, choline bitartrate, along with L-tyrosine to help boost mental performance.
Recovery. We need to take you from 5% to 100% as fast as possible. Bounce back with nourishing BCAAs.
For body and mind. Energy.
Fuel to get the job done. Answer the bell with confidence that you'll be able to attack energy and intensity.
We mix a blend of instant and sustained release caffeine to light a fire with
300 milligrams of GO.
stamina.
The willpower to see it to the end.
But true stamina is coming back day after month after year. We incorporated L-carnitine to deliver energy on a cellular level, with betaine anhydrous and taurine augmenting those effects.
Hydration. Sports science was built on hydration, and it's no secret why.
That's why we added a blend of electrolytes to help sustain performance. We tried all of the other energy drinks. They may help you stay awake, but not much else. We combined all 5 pillars of performance into one single form:
Focus.
Recovery.
energy,
Stamina.
and hydration. We call it Refresh Technology.
And it delivers more.